Philippines began to assert its sovereignty in the South China Sea by placing buoys in the waters that it claims to be its own.
How the U.S. and the Philippines just checkmated China. Are the U.S. and Philippines one step ahead of China in the South Pacific? A game-changing deal has left President Xi Jinping fuming. The stakes are high, and the implications for global security are enormous. Is this the checkmate move the world has been waiting for? The Philippines holds immense strategic significance in the South Pacific due to its unique geographic location. Situated at the crossroads of major sea routes, it serves as a gateway between the Pacific and Indian Oceans, making it a vital hub for global trade. The nation's position allows it to influence and control the movement of goods and vessels traversing some of the world's most important shipping lanes. With its extensive coastline and numerous natural harbors, the Philippines has historically been a critical stopover for trade between East Asia and the rest of the world. Its ports facilitate the movement of goods to and from countries across Asia, the Americas, Europe, and Africa. This geographic advantage has given the Philippines considerable economic leverage, attracting the interest of major powers seeking to secure their trade routes and maintain regional stability. Given its strategic importance and potential impact on international trade, any shift in the Philippines' geopolitical alignment can have a significant implication for global affairs. The recent developments in the U.S.-Philippine relationship, particularly in the context of countering China's influence, highlight the nation's crucial role in shaping the future of the South Pacific region and beyond. China's economic growth and status as a global manufacturing powerhouse have led to a heavy reliance on sea routes for both exports and the import of essential resources, most notably oil from the Middle East. As the world's largest exporter, China's industries heavily depend on efficient maritime transport to reach international markets. Sea routes facilitate the transportation of goods and raw materials, enabling China to maintain a competitive edge in the global supply chain. China's tremendous energy demands require a substantial inflow of oil to sustain its industrial and domestic needs. With limited domestic oil production, the Middle East serves as a critical source for China's oil imports. The vast majority of these crucial resources are transported by sea, making secure and open maritime routes a top priority for China's economic stability and development. The strategic importance of these sea routes has prompted China to invest heavily in modernizing its navy and expanding its maritime capabilities. As China's economic influence grows, ensuring the security and stability of its sea lanes has become a fundamental aspect of its national strategy. Any disruption to these critical sea routes could have profound implications not only for China's economy, but also for global trade and energy dynamics. The naval capabilities of the United States and China have been a subject of intense scrutiny as both nations assert their dominance in the Indo-Pacific region. The U.S., with its long-standing naval supremacy, maintains a significant edge over China and various aspects of naval power, particularly in the realm of battle force missiles. The U.S. Navy boasts a formidable arsenal of battle force missiles encompassing anti-ship, surface attack, and air defense capabilities. With advanced missile systems deployed in its warships, submarines, and aircraft, the U.S. maintains a powerful deterrent against potential adversaries. This arsenal allows the U.S. Navy to project force across vast distances, swiftly respond to threats, and maintain control over key maritime choke points. In contrast, China has been striving to close the gap with the U.S. through a sustained effort to modernize its Navy. Central to this modernization drive is the development of aircraft carriers. China has made significant strides in this area, constructing and deploying its indigenous aircraft carriers. The Type 001 Liaoning, a refurbished Soviet-era vessel, was commissioned in 2012, while the Type 002 Shandong, China's first domestically built aircraft carrier, entered service in 2019. Currently, China's third aircraft carrier, the Type 003, is undergoing sea trials, and plans for the fourth carrier, the Type 004, have been rumored. The introduction of these carriers signifies China's ambition to extend its naval reach beyond its coastal waters and enhance its power projection capabilities. While China's carrier program marks a significant milestone in its naval modernization, it still trails the U.S. in terms of carrier technology, operational experience, and carrier strike group capabilities. The U.S. operates several Nimitz-class aircraft carriers, each complemented by a formidable carrier strike group, comprising advanced surface combatants, submarines, and support vessels. These carrier strike groups are a testament to the U.S. Navy's unrivaled ability to project power and respond to crises worldwide. Despite China's progress, the U.S. continues to invest heavily in naval modernization and innovation. The development of next-generation technology such as unmanned surface and underwater vehicles, artificial intelligence integration, and hypersonic missile systems further cements the U.S. Navy's position as a global maritime force. As both nations continue to develop and enhance their naval capabilities, the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific region remains a critical concern for international security. The competition between the U.S. and China in the maritime domain will shape the geopolitical landscape for years to come, influencing regional stability and the future of naval warfare. China's strategic imperative to project power in the South Pacific and Indian Oceans arises from its position as a global economic powerhouse and its dependence on maritime trade. As the world's largest exporter and a major consumer of natural resources, China's economic prosperity hinges on secure and open sea lanes for the movement of goods and resources. Controlling these vital waters allows China to safeguard its trade routes, protect its economic interests, and assert influence in the Indo-Pacific region. The South Pacific and Indian Oceans are key maritime regions due to their significant trade flows and proximity to major shipping routes. By projecting power in these areas, China seeks to extend its reach beyond its coastal waters and protect its maritime interests further afield. Establishing a naval presence in these regions allows China to secure access to resources, support its global economic ventures, and expand its geopolitical influence. However, China's maritime shipping is susceptible to vulnerabilities at critical choke points, such as the Straits of Malacca and the Gulf of Oman. The Straits of Malacca, a narrow passage between the Malay Peninsula and the Indonesian island of Sumatra, is one of the world's busiest and most vital shipping lanes. Any disruption or blockage in the strategic choke point could severely impact China's maritime trade, hindering the flow of essential goods and raw materials. To mitigate these vulnerabilities, China has been investing heavily in modernizing its navy and developing capabilities to safeguard its maritime interests. Strengthening its naval presence in the South Pacific and Indian Oceans enables China to better protect its trade routes and shipping lanes, ensuring a steady flow of resources and goods to sustain its economic growth and maintain its political influence. The U.S.-Philippine deal holds immense significance in countering China's growing influence in the region and reinforcing the U.S. presence in the Indo-Pacific. As China continues to assert its dominance in the South China Sea and expand its military capabilities, the agreement serves as a strategic response to maintain regional stability and protect shared interest among like-minded allies. The deal, signed as part of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, in February 2023, marks the largest expansion of military access for the U.S. in the Philippines in 3 decades. It grants the U.S. greater access to key military facilities in the country, enabling the opening of 4 new airfields for U.S. aircraft. This move bolsters the U.S.'s capacity to project air power and enhance its military presence in the South Pacific, directly impacting China's calculations in the region. The newly opened airfields in the Philippines offer a significant advantage to the U.S. in terms of strategic positioning. Located in a stride away from China's vital sea lines of communication, the U.S. can now more effectively enforce a potential blockade of China's maritime trade routes. This capability serves as a strong deterrent against any aggressive actions by China in the South China Sea and other contested areas, as the U.S. can now swiftly respond to potential threats. The Philippines' northernmost island is just over 100 miles away from Taiwan, making it a crucial location for potential military operations in the event of a crisis involving Taiwan. With the enhanced U.S. presence in the Philippines, China's plan for the forceful reunification of Taiwan is met with an increased challenge, as the U.S. and its allies now have greater air power within close proximity to the island. For the Philippines, the deal provides a robust guarantee of national security. By having U.S. troops stationed alongside their own forces, the Philippines significantly strengthens its defense capabilities and deters potential threats from adversaries in the region. The U.S.-Philippine deal holds significant implications for China's plan for the forceful reunification of Taiwan, as it directly affects China's military calculations in the region. The proximity of the Philippines to Taiwan has a crucial strategic dimension to any potential conflict involving Taiwan, making the U.S. presence in the Philippines a vital factor in countering China's ambitions. China's desire to reunify Taiwan with the mainland has been a long-standing goal, and it's never renounced the use of force to achieve this objective. As tensions between China and Taiwan continue to simmer, the potential for a military confrontation remains a concern. In such a scenario, the U.S.-Philippine agreement plays a crucial role in shaping the balance of power. The Philippines' geographical location places it in close proximity to Taiwan, making it strategically important in any conflict scenario. The northernmost island of the Philippines is just over 100 miles away from Taiwan, allowing the U.S. and its allies to rapidly respond and deploy air power in defense of Taiwan in case of aggression by China. And this proximity grants the U.S. a significant advantage in terms of air power projection and allows for a more credible and swift response in protecting Taiwan's sovereignty. With the opening of 4 new airfields in the Philippines for U.S. aircraft, the U.S. has gained greater access and flexibility to deploy its military assets in the region. This enhanced military presence on the Philippine soil strengthens the U.S.'s ability to deter any aggressive actions by China against Taiwan and sends a clear signal of commitment to Taiwan's security. In the event of a conflict over Taiwan, the Philippines could serve as a vital base for U.S. forces to conduct air operations in support of Taiwan's defense. The U.S. can position fighter jets, surveillance aircraft, and other assets on these airfields, significantly reducing the time and resources required to respond to threats in the region. The challenges faced by the U.S. in deploying air power from distant locations in response to a Taiwan conflict stem from the vast distances involved and the complex logistics required for sustained operations. In the event of a crisis in the Taiwan Strait, the U.S. would need to rapidly deploy its air assets to support its allies and counter potential Chinese aggression. However, the long distances between U.S. military bases and the Taiwan region pose several significant challenges. Firstly, the sheer distance can lead to extended response times. Aircraft operating from U.S. carriers or bases in Japan or Guam would have to cover hundreds or even thousands of miles to reach the Taiwan Strait. This delay in response time could give China a head start at any potential military action, limiting the U.S.'s ability to immediately deter or thwart Chinese advances. Secondly, long-range deployments put a strain on the resources and endurance of U.S. aircraft. Aircraft must be refueled multiple times during transit, which can limit the number of sorties they can generate and the duration they can remain on station in the event of a conflict. The reliance on distant bases and carriers can make U.S. air power vulnerable to potential enemy countermeasures. China's invested heavily in developing sophisticated anti-ship ballistic missiles and anti-access area denial capabilities, which could target U.S. carriers and forward bases in the region. Such threats could limit the U.S.'s ability to deploy its air assets safely and maintain sustained operations in the area. The new airfields in the Philippines significantly improve U.S. defense and serve as a strong deterrent against Chinese ambitions against Taiwan. By granting the U.S. access to 4 additional airfields, the agreement allows for a more agile and rapid response to any potential crisis in the Taiwan Strait. These airfields are located in close proximity to Taiwan, reducing the time required for U.S. aircraft to reach the region and enhancing their operational flexibility. The closer proximity of the airfields in the Philippines also reduces the strain on aircraft and enhances the U.S.'s ability to sustain operations. With shorter flight distances, aircraft can spend more time on station, conducting patrols, reconnaissance, and defensive operations in support of Taiwan. The new airfields offer the U.S. a more dispersed and resilient operational posture. Having multiple airfields in the Philippines provides redundancy and reduces the vulnerability of U.S. air power to enemy attacks. In the event of potential missile strikes targeting U.S. forces, the distributed nature of the airfields makes it more challenging for China to neutralize all U.S. assets in the region. The presence of U.S. troops stationed in the Philippines brings significant benefits for both national security and the local economy. From a national security perspective, having U.S. forces deployed in the Philippines provides a strategic advantage in safeguarding the country's territorial integrity and sovereignty. The U.S.-Philippine alliance strengthens the collective defense capabilities of both nations, deterring potential aggressors and maintaining stability in the region. With U.S. troops stationed alongside their Filipino counterparts, the Philippines gains access to advanced military training, intelligence sharing, and cutting-edge technology. This enhances the professional development of the Philippine Armed Forces and improves their ability to respond to various security challenges, including territorial disputes and regional threats. On the economic front, the presence of U.S. troops has positive effects on the local economy. The U.S. military personnel stationed in the Philippines contribute to the local economy through off-duty spending, rental of housing and facilities, and support for local businesses. This influx of economic activity generates employment opportunities and stimulates growth in the host communities, creating a mutually beneficial partnership. On the other hand, China's militarization of reefs in the South China Sea has been a source of tension and contention in the region. China's aggressive island building and fortification efforts in disputed waters have raised concerns about maritime security and freedom of navigation. Territorial disputes between China and the Philippines over areas like Scarborough Shoal and the Spratly Islands have strained bilateral relations. The Philippines has contested China's expansive claims in the South China Sea and has sought international arbitration to clarify maritime boundaries based on the United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea. China's militarization of these disputed areas has tightened tensions and posed challenges to regional stability. The deployment of military assets on these artificial islands, including airstrips and defense systems, has raised concerns about potential escalations and incidents in the already sensitive maritime region. The Chinese Foreign Ministry's response to the U.S.-Philippine deal was marked by expressing concerns about escalating regional tensions. Following the announcement of the agreement, China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson raised objections, stating that the deal would further complicate the situation in the region and endanger peace and stability. China viewed the increased U.S. military presence in the Philippines as a challenge to its interests and a potential hindrance to its assertive actions in the South China Sea. China has been assertively pursuing its territorial claims in the South China Sea, and its expansionist activities, including the militarization of reefs and artificial island building, have been a source of tension with neighboring countries, including the Philippines. In this context, China's response to the U.S.-Philippine deal reflected its concerns about a potential shift in the regional balance of power and the strengthening of the U.S.-led security architecture in the Indo-Pacific. Despite China's efforts to sway public opinion in the Philippines, a public sentiment has consistently favored the U.S. over China. Several polls conducted in the Philippines have shown a strong positive view of the U.S. among the Filipino population. A 2022 poll revealed that a vast majority of Filipinos had a great deal of trust or a fair amount of trust in the U.S., while only a small percentage expressed a similar level of trust in China. This favorable perception of the U.S. is not new and has been a historical trend in the Philippines. Despite political changes and challenges in the bilateral relationship, the U.S. has been seen as a preferred foreign nation by the majority of Filipinos for many years. This sentiment is rooted in historical ties, cultural affinity, and shared democratic values between the two countries. The shift in U.S.-Philippine relations from uncertainty during Duterte's presidency to improved ties under President Bongbong Marcos marks a significant transformation in the bilateral relationship. During the presidency of Rodrigo Duterte, U.S.-Philippine relations faced uncertainty due to his strongman approach and contentious policies which strained ties with the U.S. Duterte's violent war on drugs and his outspoken criticism of the U.S. led to tensions and threats of a political break in the security partnership between the two nations. China saw this as an opportunity to expand its influence in the Philippines, and its diplomats immediately sought to strengthen ties with the country and turn it away from the U.S. However, with the rise of President Bongbong Marcos, the U.S.-Philippine relations underwent a positive realignment. Marcos pursued a more pragmatic and conciliatory approach towards the U.S., seeking to repair the rift caused by Duterte's presidency. His willingness to engage with the U.S. and strengthen the long-standing alliance between the two nations has helped in rebuilding trust and enhancing cooperation. The U.S.-Philippine deal, signed as part of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, has played a pivotal role in consolidating the improved ties under President Marcos. The deal signifies a renewed commitment to the alliance and reflects the Philippines' willingness to enhance its defense capabilities and security cooperation with the U.S. The impact of the U.S.-Philippine deal on China's influence operations in the region has been significant. China has been actively seeking to expand its influence in the Indo-Pacific region, including the Philippines, through various means such as economic investments, infrastructure projects, and cultural exchanges. A Chinese invasion of Taiwan would have far-reaching consequences on the global order and economies worldwide, as it would be a highly destabilizing event with significant geopolitical and economic ramifications. Taiwan's strategic location and its manufacturing of sensitive electronic components play a critical role in global trade, making it a linchpin in the supply chain of many industries. The island is a major producer of semiconductors, microchips, and other sensitive electronic components that are vital to the functioning of modern economies. A disruption in Taiwan's production capabilities due to conflict could severely impact global supply chains, leading to shortages and price fluctuations in electronic devices and other high-tech products. The global shortage of semiconductor chips in 2021, driven by supply chain disruptions and increased demand during the COVID-19 pandemic, already highlighted the vulnerabilities of relying heavily on a few key manufacturing centers. An invasion of Taiwan could exacerbate these vulnerabilities and create further turmoil in industries such as automotive, consumer electronics, and telecommunications. Both nations have increasingly demonstrated their commitment to consolidating power domestically and projecting influence abroad, often in opposition to liberal democratic values. China and Russia have found common ground in their critique of the Western model of governance, advocating for alternative models that prioritize state control and centralized authority. Their strategic alignment in promoting authoritarianism is evident in their support for each other in international forums, their opposition to Western-led initiatives, and their joint military exercises. As the partnership between China and Russia continues to grow, their joint efforts to promote authoritarian governance could have significant repercussions for the prospects of democracy and human rights worldwide. The support they provide to other autocratic regimes, both diplomatically and economically, may undermine efforts to promote democratic governance and individual freedoms on the global stage. In the context of Taiwan, its fate holds immense importance in defining the course of the 21st century. The status of Taiwan has been a long-standing point of contention between China and the international community. China views Taiwan as a renegade province and has consistently sought its reunification with the mainland, even if it requires the use of force. The resolution of the Taiwan issue has far-reaching implications for regional stability and the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. A peaceful resolution that upholds Taiwan's democratic values and preserves its autonomy could be a testament to the resilience of democratic governance and the ability to peacefully address territorial disputes. Understanding the implications of the U.S.-Philippine deal is of the utmost urgency in the broader context of global security. The agreement signifies a pivotal shift in regional dynamics and has the potential to impact the delicate balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. As China seeks to expand its influence and assertiveness, the deal's consequences could shape the trajectory of regional stability and the international order. It is crucial to assess how this development will affect existing alliances, security arrangements, and the prospects for peace and cooperation in the rapidly evolving geopolitical landscape. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and thank you for watching.